to take some notes on the show because you all know I can ramble. So I wanted to be able to stay focused. So I just had to come on here and discuss Real Housewives of Atlanta, the reunion part 2. So I'm guessing it's going to be at least 3 parts. Hopefully they will sum it up on the 3rd part because I'm just over the recycled drama at this point. So the show started off with everybody talking over each other, arguing, Portia blurting out that Kenya's never apologized to anybody, which is not true. It has also been captured on film, her multiple apologies. So I'm like, she just keeps trying to come for Kenya for stuff that's not even true. Like, if you're going to try to come for somebody, at least make sure what you're throwing out there is accurate information. Okay, so then we went into the receipts, Portia's receipts, which turned out to be garbage. Okay, she tried to make it sound like, you know, Kenya was really trying to bring Cynthia down, and basically Kenya was upset because it seemed like Cynthia was taking Eva's side over Kenya, and Kenya felt that Cynthia should have had more of loyalty for her because they've known each other longer, blah 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 blah. And I think this stemmed from the whole baby shower thing, when Kenya invited, or not baby shower, the, I guess kind of a sip and see or whatever that Kenya had invited Eva to, and Eva said that, you know, she doesn't want certain energies around her baby, you know, talking about Kenya. So, and frankly, as I would have been upset by that as well. Like, you're supposed to be my friend. Kenya has been, now she's done some shady stuff to Cynthia, okay, which she has apologized for those things, but nothing like, you know, groundbreaking or earth shattering that she's done to her. Just, you know, little petty stuff. And, you know, it's like the ladies that don't like her, they want to gang up on her and act as though Cynthia should just throw away their friendship over dumb stuff, when Nene, Marlo, and Portia have done things way more severe to each other, but yet they can make up every, you know, 2 seconds. And yeah, Portia was called the makeup queen, and she didn't even catch that that's what they were talking about, not her actual makeup. And anywho, back to the Underground Railroad foolishness. But yeah, so I'm like, girl, everybody doesn't throw their friendships in the trash over dumb stuff, especially if you're a woman of a certain level of maturity. You understand that friends have little rifts, but if, as long as it's not something that is, you know, really traumatizing to the relationship, you can move past it. Like, you know, everybody doesn't have to throw everybody away just because they're not kissing their behind or whatever. Like, some people on the cast do season after season. So anywho, the receipts were, she could have kept them. She hyped them up. They were nowhere near what she claimed. And like I said, I do feel that Kenya was justified in being upset about Kenya not speaking up. I mean, Cynthia not speaking up for her, because she could have said, you know, because at that point, Eva didn't really know Kenya. She was kind of going off of, because remember, Eva came on the show as Nene's friend. So I think she kind of was judging Kenya based on Nene. And she hadn't taken the time to get to know Kenya herself. But you see, as soon as she got to know Kenya, it was a 180. And that's the thing. I've met Kenya. I know a lot of people that have. Even Dr. Heavenly, you know, as shady as she is, she even posted a video saying how Kenya is very nice. She plays her role on the show, but she really is a very nice, kind person. But again, she knows what brings ratings. So she does all this shady stuff because basically, hell, she carried the show this season. Anywho, so moving on. So then they talked about the baby boom, Cynthia and her LA family, Marlo and her taking in her nephews, which is a very admirable thing to do. And then they talked about Kenya and Portia's relationship and how they had made up. Portia is too busy trying to be Nene Jr., in my opinion. She really is. And it's like she tries to make Kenya's issues with other housewives her issue. Like, honestly, Kenya did not really do anything shady to Portia this season at all. She did her little, her little one-liners, a couple of times. But so did Nene. Like, Portia wanted to bring up about her talking about what she said about Dennis regarding the something with a dog or something, I can't remember. But Nene said something about Portia need to get a rabies shot or something of that, nature. So it's like, are you mad or are you not? Because if you're mad, you need to be mad at Nene too, because she made jabs about that bestiality mess that was on the blogs and all of that stuff as well. It was not just Kenya. And when Kenya was asked on an interview about what Portia was going through with Dennis, Kenya said that she was not going to comment on it because she has her issues with her own marriage, and that everybody's going through things, and that she just did not think it was her place to say anything. Those are the kind of things that matter. Okay, this little one-liner, little jabs they do in their little segments, that's normal. They all do it. But when it really came down to her speaking out against them or Portia, she did not do it. But Nene has gone on interview after interview after interview dogging out her so-called little sister and other castmates that she allegedly was close to. So I'm like, girl, bye. You just want there to be a problem just because you and Nene have made up, and now you have Tanya, because I can promise you, if Tanya was not on the show, Portia probably would not have been throwing all of that shade Kenya's way. But it's like, when she gets somebody to be in her corner, then she gets emboldened. And that's not cool, because it shouldn't matter who's in your corner or who's not. If you legitimately make up with someone and you all agree to bury the hatchet, let bygones be bygones, then you just need to stick with that. And if your friend and the girl you made up with and have had a nicely blossomed relationship, which she even admitted on camera that she really enjoyed her and Kenya's relationship. So you know that you all have done a complete 180. If your friend and her are having issues, you stay out of it, because you have a relationship with both people. So you stay out. You don't insert yourself. That's when drama starts. So anywho, that's that. Oh, and then they talked about, Shamia's thing. Kenya posted the receipts showing the text, which was exactly what she said. She did not say that that Shamia contacted her when she had her baby. She said she contacted her when she thought she was going into labor, which was true, but it was false labor. Okay? Kenya didn't lie, but Portia kept trying to say that she was lying. I'm like, girl, the receipts were published. The screenshot of the text were published, and it is not. Again, she just wants to keep coming for Kenya when she doesn't have the receipts to back it up. Okay, so then we went to the cookie lady, and then Tanya wanted to bust down and say that, because one of the questions was, why does Kenya act surprised when people come back at her or whatever? And Tanya was like, yeah, she, acts surprised. No, Tanya is the one who acted surprised, okay, when she already knew about that cookie lady, because Cynthia had already told her. But she want to act like she was blindsided. That's not true. And Cynthia spoke out in the interview and said that she was kind of upset with Tanya because she did not mention that anywhere. It was like she was just, because Nene is finally giving her 2 seconds of attention and she's friends with Portia, so now she wants to kind of, give everybody else the shaft. And Cynthia was like, no, because, I did reach out to her. I did give her a heads up, but she did not acknowledge that on the reunion. And she was like, she felt some type of way about that because, Tanya was acting like she didn't know what was going on, which was the furthest from the truth, because she had told her about that lady months prior to the cookie lady busting in at their brunch or whatever. So, and then she told me nobody was laughing when Kenya interrupted Marlo's thing. That's a lie. And then they showed everybody laughing. I'm like, Tanya, girl, bye. Like, you trying, but you're failing, okay? Then they talked about Marlo bringing up that comment, and she never answered the question when the viewer had the question and said, why does Marlo keep bringing up Kenya's relationship with her mother, and if she felt that how would she feel if someone said that to her nephews? She never answered the question. She went round and round and wanted to deflect and answer the dang on question, because what really irritates me about Marlo is that Marlo also does not have a relationship with her mother. Marlo was in foster care, okay? At least in Kenya's situation, her family took care of her. Her grandmother took care of her, and she has a relationship with her father. She wasn't bounced around from foster home to foster home. So honestly, Marlo's situation is worse. The hypocrisy is real. Like, you've been in foster care, been in homes of people who didn't treat you well, and you still do not have a good relationship with your mother to this day. Marlo, she was on somebody's show. I can't remember if it was Candy's show, her YouTube show, or somebody else's show, and said that, she is still wrestling with trying to have a relationship with her mother. So, pot, meet, kettle. Like, just be quiet. The hypocrisy is real. And then, her best bud, Nene, wants to keep coming for people repeatedly. It's like, girl, stop coming for people. Like, she comes for people constantly, but then wants to play the victim. She was even on Watch What Happens Live talking about she gonna read these bitches, da 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 da. Well, it didn't quite go her way, and then she picked up her toys and said, I'm gonna go home. I'm no longer playing in the sandbox with y'all. But she claimed that she was gonna basically read everybody, and it didn't work out that way, and she couldn't handle it. So Nene is the person that can't dish what she takes. Kenya stands in her stuff. So, that's that. Now, and then Andy was like, so Kenya can come for other people's businesses, but they can't come for hers. Kenya is strategic. That's the thing about Kenya. She may not come at you right then, but best believe it's coming. And then they went back and showed, again, receipts showing how Marlo had come for her. Okay, so it's like, don't forget, they all have selective amnesia. Why they talk about Eva, they all have it. And like I said, she may not strike right away, but she may strike a year or two later, and then you looking crazy and you shocked and puzzled trying to figure out why is she coming for you. Well, she just tucked it in her pocket, closed it up, and said, okay, I'm bring this out later. So you know how she is, so deal with it. Okay, now Nene, this is beyond the reunion, and then I'm gonna come back. Nene wrote this long note about why she closed her laptop, or whatever. Like I said, took her toys and got out of the sandbox, and basically was saying that she was being attacked. If you all notice, most of what I have been talking about has been Kenya. Kenya is the one who was mainly on the firing, in front of the firing squad on this reunion. They talked about the cookie lady, Kenya making her comments about Cynthia's business, Cynthia's engagement, the Shamia text, her busting in on Marlo's launch. Most of the reunion has been talking about stuff that Kenya has done. So I'm like, girl, bye. They were not ganging up on Nene. Kenya was the one who was taking most of the hits on this reunion, but the only thing was she was hitting back. That's the difference. Because see, that's the problem with Nene, is that she doesn't make sense. Her responses are stupid. The only thing that she does is overtalk people, throw insults, and fold under pressure, just like all three of her faces. That's all that she does. You know what I'm saying? If she was able to, go back with them in the ring, then she wouldn't be mad. The issue is that she wants to throw all of this shade and throw all this stuff out and try to diminish all of these women, but then when they come back at her, she's quiet. She's sitting over there. Honey, that's not how you read a bitch, okay? So, anywho, she doesn't make any valid points. All she does is deflect and insult other people. And you can't win an argument that way, which is why she's mad. Also, then they went back to the Shamia thing, and then Portia wanted to harp on that. And it's like, girl, again, the receipts have already been shown, and who the freak cares anyway? And it showed on the text, the screenshot, that Shamia reached out to Kenya first, asking her if she ever felt certain kind of pains or whatever, and then Kenya responded. So she reached out to Kenya, and I don't understand why Shamia is so loyal to Portia anyway. I'm still confused about that, because Portia didn't even go to her official wedding in Africa because she chose to wait till the last minute to buy her ticket and claims that she can only sit in first class because she needs to be able to stretch out on longer flights. And the only tickets that were available were coach. Okay, one, if this is supposed to be one of your best friends, you should have been one of the first people to buy a plane ticket to her wedding. It's not like her wedding was a surprise. It had been very well planned, so you knew when she was getting married. Candy has only known Shamia a fraction of the time, and she managed to make it to her wedding in Africa. But you're supposed to be her best friend, and you wait until the last minute to buy a ticket, and now the first class tickets are gone, and you are, you just can't sit in coach. I'm sorry, but if it was my best friend's wedding, I would sit in the freaking cargo area to make it to my best friend's wedding. Okay? That's the bottom line. So I don't even know why Portia has been so shady to Shamia on the show, especially when Phaedra was on there. She did Shamia dirty. And so I don't even understand why she is even trying to kiss up to Portia and throw Kenya under the bus at this point. So, anyway, moving on. Nene keeps wanting to say Skinya. So whoever, she pays for her read, she want to keep. Here we go again, because I've already said, what irritates me is hypocrisy. That I just can't stand hypocrisy in general, okay? Do not talk about people when you have the same issues. Nene definitely has had some skin issues throughout the seasons, many of which have been very well captured on my 4K TV screen. Okay, so she's no Eva, okay, regarding her skin. So she really needs to stop coming for Kenya, because she had little indentions in her skin and stuff like that as well. Just because, she didn't got a good dermatologist or whatever, and her skin has much improved, so has Kenya's. So they in the same boat regarding the skin. Now, Kenya calling Tanya to see you next Tuesday. That I was shocked that she did, because normally she doesn't say stuff like that about, women. But again, she owned it and she took accountability for it and she apologized. But Tanya still wanna, I'm like, girl, like, bye. You're not, mute her, please. Mute her. Then Nene was like, said that Kenya deserves what happened in her marriage. That's her karma. I'm so glad that Kenya threw that mess with Greg back up there, because I'm like, girl, here we go again. You do not have room to be talking about this woman's marriage because yours was trying to frolic around with your employee. Okay? Then here's Tanya again about the cookie lady. So basically, this was her only claim to fame and relevance on the show this season, was what Kenya brought her way. So if anything, she should be thanking Kenya, because if it wasn't for Kenya, she probably would not have received the screen time that she received. And she's talking about, Kenya thought she thought she was the rabbit with the gun or whatever, and that, it didn't work out. Okay, well, honey, my thing is, if Tanya is so secure with Paul and, their relationship is great, and why do you have a Jennifer Hudson engagement? And you're way older, meaning that your fertility is not as spry, okay? And she already said she only got 2 eggs or whatever. So, like, what's the problem? Like, what are y'all waiting on? Like, if things are so great and you're just so secure in your relationship, why have you been a 10-year girlfriend, fiance? I mean, what's the problem? So, I'm just over it, and then most of the rest of it was, Kenya and, Nene and Candy going at it. What really irritates me is that many of the women on the Housewives were established before the show. But those are the main women that Nene wants to keep coming after and talking about she's the queen and she has all this, and that Eva was, last time she was on top was on America's Next Top Model, all this BS. But I'm like, sweetheart, Eva was on a reality show before reality shows were on every damn channel, every 2 seconds, okay? Back in, I think, 2004 or something like that, okay? So she was one of the trailblazers in that industry, and especially competition shows, because back then we didn't have, The Voice and all of that stuff, okay? And she has still maintained her career throughout. Okay, Candy, we don't even need to talk about it. We don't even need to discuss that. Candy is definitely more successful than Nene. Okay, and Nene even admitted herself she just became a homeowner. She's in her 50s. Okay, Candy has owned several homes. Okay, and her home is paid for cash. Nene has a mortgage. Okay. Kenya had a career before the show. Cynthia had a career before the show. So, and has maintained and stayed afloat throughout. So it's like, instead of you trying to comfort these women, you need to be trying to figure out what they're doing to be able to maintain themselves for decades. Because Real Housewives of Atlanta is not going to continue to be what it is or continue to have the same cast that it has now. These things are, people come in and out. I mean, shoot, even on OC, Vicky is gone and she was the OG. So, I mean, you could be here today, gone tomorrow on this show. You know what I'm saying? And so those people that actually have careers, not just being a reality TV personality, but have careers and businesses and, produce and write and, own all of these businesses and homes and property, don't come for them. And and then it's calling people a, instead of being mad at the other women because you're not interesting enough to have your own show, you need to step your game up. Like, stop being mad at everybody else. Like, everything with Nene is somebody else's fault. She doesn't take any ownership. Even the thing with Cynthia, when Cynthia was like, we both done things to each other, and Nene was like, no, we didn't. Here we go again with her not taking accountability. She went for that woman's check. Nene went for Cynthia's check. Okay? I'm sorry, but that is, doing something to somebody when you pretty much say they should be fired. Okay? I don't care if we're having a falling out or whatever. I'm not trying to come for somebody's money. You know what I'm saying? Because we were friends at one point, and even if we may be having a rift right now, I'm not going to go that low that I'm trying to come for your check, and say that you should be fired from a show that you have been on for 11 years or whatever the case may be. But again, she doesn't look in the mirror. Well, in more ways than one. But yeah, so that's what really gets on my nerves about Nene and these people who, want to keep defending her. And Portia, again, they're always, they're hypocrites, okay? Because like I said, one person can say one thing and another person can say the exact same thing or something even worse, and they'll overlook it just because of who they are. And it's like, no, if you're going to be offended across the board. It shouldn't matter who says it, because to me, it should be even worse if your so-called big sister says something rude about you and your relationship. To me, you should be more upset about that because you all are supposed to be close, or, rekindling your friendship or whatever. So, I would be way more mad at someone that I'm close to saying something about me than someone that I'm just an associate with or whatever. But that's just me. But anyway, I have gone long enough. Feel free to comment, and I'll probably see you guys next week. All right. Peace. Wait, y'all, I forgot to address one thing that had me rolling, and that was Candy basically telling Tanya that she didn't know her like that. So no, she wasn't coming to her defense. Like, girl, I don't know you. like Mariah Carey, I don't know her. That had me rolling. I'm like, girl, you better stick with Portia and Nene, because, honey, nobody else is checking for you, okay, on the show. So, yeah, and like they said, they have to defend their own stuff, Like I said before, Kenya was, they were back to back bringing up stuff that Kenya did, and she was just reading right back, like, just the whole time. So it's like, sweetie, keep up. Like, you defend yourself, and, you need to actually be able to go back at these women, but she can't. And I'm like, just keep your... It just seems like that's just not in her nature. So, just go on about your business. Continue to do your entrepreneurship and all that. Her and Paul seem to be very successful. Just stay in that lane. Leave the Real Housewives. That is not in your lane. So just stay in your lane, basically, bottom line. Okay, for real. Bye.